Hey friends, if you don't know, I have another channel where I focus on comic books and action figures. And this video is going to be a repost from that channel, Old Nerd Reviews Wyoming. If you like comics or you even have a bit of an interest in getting into the hobby, go check out Old Nerd Reviews WY for all kinds of comic book content. This book is one that I read and was really poignant to me, and I really enjoyed it. And I think that the most important part of my advocacy, the reason why I even started this channel and that one, was because disability brings a lot of boredom. And we're often discouraged from pursuing anything outside of joy, outside of necessity. We're discouraged from pursuing joys because we're made to feel like we have to earn it, which we don't. That's silly. But we need fun more than anybody. So go check out, if you enjoyed this video, go check out the channel and check out this book. It's called Bronze Faces. And here we go, key to music. Let's talk about comics. Let's talk about comics. Let's talk about comics. Hey friends, it's Charles here, and I just read the brand new title from Boom Studios called Bronze Faces. This story really spoke to me as an African American and American of African descent because we often, more than not, don't know our specific legacy or history per se, etymology, where we come from. And it's, something that we long for, a sense of understanding our roots and belonging, and in a way, if not physical, but at least cultural repatriation. And that is what this book is about. It is the story of three friends from childhood. They grew up like siblings almost. And they each had their own kind of way of doing things. You have Senga, who is brash and confrontational and reactionary. You have Rose Kabunga, who is studious and faithful and really more conservative minded in her actions. And then you have Timmy, who is a musician and an artist and kind of, the little brother in these relationships. And it centers around Timmy's father, who had taken them all in, even though they weren't related by blood. He is an artist who made these bronze masks and, really stressed the importance of it, how it ties back to their history and how each mask represents somebody. For instance, one of the masks represents his mother, and he really stresses the importance of art, be it music or creating, that it has to tell a story. It has to be something more than just beating on a drum or just producing something. And you see in their chart, you meet them in their childhood here after the opening scene. I got ahead of myself a little bit. The opening is kind of a cold open where you meet these characters in the midst of a heist in Soho, London. And they're kind of a haphazard crew, and you don't know what's going on, so it jumps you right into the action, and we flash back 15 years previous to their childhood where we meet these characters as they're younger. And then it cuts back to current times, and their father has passed, and due to his debts, a lot of his art has been sold or given to this museum in England, which in reality, too much African history is tucked away in museums all around the world, but not in Africa. And these three get back together again after being estranged, trying to purchase the art. And we find out that Senga is an architect who is very successful in England, and Rose is a politician back in Nigeria, and Timmy is a down on his luck musician. And so they get together to, and you have the complications of their relationship, and you see how things have developed as they've grown up. I'm not going to go into too many details because it's such a good story. I think, you'll want to experience a lot of this yourself. But you see them getting to know each other, and you see that their personalities have persisted from the time they were children to who they are now. So I think it does a great job of establishing these characters and how they related as children and who they are now and what leads to the actions, and eventually them deciding, since the British Museum won't sell, they're going to repatriate this African art, Timmy's father's art, back to Nigeria. And so they stage a heist. And in the midst of the heist, Timmy ends up grabbing something else that he saw that wasn't his father's, but looked important. And he found a sealed letter which contained an account of all of art from the past 100 years that had been pilfered from Nigeria and where it is currently located. And so they go from, a group of estranged childhood friends who are just simply trying to repatriate Timmy's father's work to now they have a larger goal of repatriating all of this Nigerian art. And then it ends with this page right here. In Oyo, the great warrior king Sango envied the friendship of his two best generals, Timmy and Gabunga. Sanga sent each of them to conquer lands far away from one another. I set you burnt to a burning purpose. And I believe this is a piece of literature of Nigerian descent. I like the way that it's written. You can hear the Nigerian accents in the way that they communicate, and even the British characters. You can tell that it's not written from an American perspective, Americanized perspective, but very culturally appropriate. And even scenes right here where they're eating together. They're eating traditional Nigerian food with their hands like they would, and so it's very, very culturally specific and rooted in reality, and it ties to a harsh reality of the culture that has been pilfered from all over Africa, and this desire of the entire Pan-African diaspora to repatriate ourselves back to our culture, back to even, like I said, if we can't go there physically, getting to know more about that history. And I think especially in February, Black History Month, this would be a good way to celebrate that. And I really, really dig this book. It's something that I am going to continue to read, and I look forward to seeing how this develops. And something I would suggest, I might even get a few more copies for my nephews. It is that well written and that poignant. So that's been my thoughts on Boom Studios' Bronze Faces. Check it out at your local comic book store. And if you don't have a local comic book store, I always suggest my friend Jeff at Coffee and the Comic in Huntington Beach. If you don't live in California like I don't, you can use their website, www.coffeeandthecomic.com, and they ship nationwide, and they have a great deal. Ask about their subscription package. You pay one low fee and you get a box of comics every week, like clockwork. So I'll see you next time. Until then, keep reading them books. I'm out.